Hi there. Does a madman with a remote control your life in your house? Well, we have a solution for that. Hi there, and welcome to Nerf News from the Owl Ranch, Season 2, Episode 17. I'm your host, Chris Cartaya, and this is the Kronomag episode. That's right, Foam Blast had a Celebrate episode. We're going to have a Kronomag episode. This being one of the great blasters that was made, in my opinion. It came from the ashes of a design that a company that makes too many promises to people and does not deliver scrapped, and when they made a new version, it was basically a dead retaliator. But no, it came to life when Hasbro made the Kronos pistol, and I noticed that the plunger tube was just the right size to make the kind of carbine blaster of meanness I've always dreamed of. Just look at the carnage. Yes! That's right. The ability to go anywhere from 150 feet per second to as high as 300 feet per second, depending on what the user needed. The ability to shoot rifle balls out of the box and shoot anywhere from a stock spring to 18 kilograms. The Kronos pistol by Hasbro, one of, in my opinion, the best blasters they have ever come up with. And today we are celebrating this all such great modification of a blaster. And I have devoted a whole week to Kronomag Week, and to tell you all my secrets and everything else. And it's not over yet. It's only Sunday, because as of Monday, Tuesday, we're going to come up with more stuff, including a review on the Easy Nerf Kronomag kit, which I put an 11-inch barrel on it, and I made it cook toasters. Toasties! Just check it out. Oh my god, my god, my god. All right. Yes, 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 yes. That's right, you can do it too. And I tell people how to do it and everything. We're also going to study the future of the Kronomag and the future of its mods. As we can see, it's not just limited to the Kronos. There are many blasters that are also available that can do these mods. Dwayne Hoy, the guy who gave me the Adventure Force Titanium, has given me lots of really great information on the new blasters coming out. The Mercury, the Heracles, all these great blasters that we're going to be able to use these other mods. The Jupiter, the Reaper, the Diva pistol, all of them. I mean, use the same engine. And so I see a really big future for this mod engine. A blaster that doesn't need a new trigger catch. It doesn't need a new plunger tube. It doesn't need a new plunger head. It can use powerful springs out of the box. It really, really, really is a revolution, and I want to emphasize that today by showing you all the truth. So Dwayne Hoy did an opening, an unboxing, and a test of the Rival Mercury, and also did a respringing of it as well. He saw that it had really good accuracy, and it's really cool. Now, this is not NorCal Nerf Club as in one word. NorCal Nerf Club. This is two words. NorCal Nerf Club. There's one that's one word, and it's a different board than that one. So give these guys some subs. They got 37 subs right now, but I have a feeling that they're going to put out some really, really good content and good video in the future. And I really do love these reviews and these upgrade vids. He went outside, he showed everybody the accuracy of these blasters. He did some chronograph tests, very complete. Does his videos via head cam. That way you always get the right perspective, and you don't have the problems I have in videos, for example, where I can only use one hand. One's got to film and the other one's got to do. Yeah, I know I'm an old-fashioned, corny guy. I understand that. But it was pretty cool. So he showed basically that it can shoot very accurately outside, and he showed that it has the tube, the hop-up tap was a lot different. But most importantly, I found out of his videos was the plunger tube. And it was a long been a mystery of the plunger tube, and the reason was, if you guys remember, I did that video on the Mercury, where I said the one thing I didn't like about the Mercury, quite possibly, was that the tube has to be smaller in order to fit these brackets. Well, I'm right. The diameter of the bracket does have to be smaller, but Hasbro gets around that. I'm actually very, very amazed. So in watching this video right here, I saw that they had gotten around the problem to fit these big brackets to screw in. It doesn't have to be on the tube at all. It can instead be a bracket that goes around the front of the tube. Here, let me pause it for a second and enlarge it for you guys. That goes on the front of the tube over, but then also goes in the back. Now, they made this catch longer, so this can be used as a guide for this as well. So the priming on this ought to be good, but look at that, same size tube. I'm very amazed. I'm very amazed how they got around this engineering limit. I was almost certain that it was going to have to be too small. Now, would it upgrade to one of these? Well, no. Can I tell you why I wouldn't? I think it's a great pistol for rival, but can I tell you why I wouldn't? There's a couple of reasons what I personally wouldn't, and many people would, and many people like the one draw. But the problem is you're still putting the prime on one side of your blaster, especially when you're talking 18 kilograms. You want that in the center of the blaster. This here is downgraded to 13 kilograms at Ragnar Oktoberfest, and I'm still running a fever of 99.8, but I have to do the news. So, and what the thing is that although it may not be the brand new thing, and out of the box it's 90 feet per second. When you put an 18K in it, you gotta make it shoot as fast as you want. And also, this is centered right here. So the thing is that by having a speed hook, you have a center prime. You have a much easier way to prime really high power. And if you're going for like 10K, maybe you're throwing a K25 in here like he does in this video. Maybe you're going 14K, maybe you're going to K26. Maybe putting an artifact long shot spring in there, something like that. That's great. But when you're going up with the big boys, you need that center hook, especially if you're going Kronomag and you want to box with the big boys. Ooh, yeah. So I really did love this video because it showed me the internals of it. And it showed me how this engine, how they're taking this Kronos engine and they're taking it further. And they're not just making a new updated Kronos called Mercury. They're making the Jupiter. They're making all these other blasters that use the same engine. So my advice as a modder is get used to modding this and get used to modding this really, really fast because you're going to see a lot more of this in the future. Okay, so let me tell you what disadvantage a Mercury might still have. This. They use this as a rail on the Mercury. Now, you can't fit, let's say, a full-size long shot spring in there. Not that there's going to be a ton of people trying to fit a full-size long shot spring, but let's just say that's a common occurrence for me, especially when I go Kronomag. A long shot, an 18K long shot spring is a bit much for the rival. Going like 18K Kronos Worker or one of my custom 18K springs that I did, which of course I did first before Worker ever did, but we won't get into that since you guys love how much I talk about Worker. Yeah, with that prime thing back here, so basically it's like this, but to get rid of this, and I put this prime, this prime bar here, real sturdy plastic according to Dwayne, and they move this up, and so it's a good system, but you can't fit this big, huge spring. Well, how many people are going to do that? To be honest, how many? Not many. So this is this blaster right here. This is what I did. This is James Terrell, who took a My Venom, printed me on My Venom Kronomag long shot rest in there, and it works. It works really well. It does. You just measure this as the front of where this is, and you measure it to 1.3 inches there, and you have a perfect long shot rest between here and the plunger at full close. And then you glue this with it fully in there. And that's also in Kronomag Week as well. That's one of the reasons I wouldn't do it. It's that reason. But let's say let's say for example, the 18K Kronomags. Okay, if I wanted side prime and I wanted the high yield, but I wanted to keep it Kronos. Okay, I'd do it. But he says that they're also just a lot more accurate because of the way that they did the spin up tab and everything else. So we'll have to see. I'll have to try Mercury out and give it a shot. But for right now, that's my impressions. And remember that the size of the tube was only a prediction. And I saw it as, well, if they're going to make something like that on there, it has to be thick enough to do that, and this whole tube would have to be smaller. But of course, Hasbro came up with another way around it. Well, also, I'm kind of happy for Hasbro to come up with it. That's pretty cool. So these were some photos that Dwayne had leaked to me about the Mercury. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. See this bracket right here? Yeah, you can't really fit, like, let's say a long shot spring like this, because that bracket is already in the way of it, right? So you couldn't do that. That's one limit that the Mercury has. The other is that you're no longer going center. Oh, and this is the Heracles. He also pointed me in terms of the Heracles, which was also pretty cool. It's basically, as he calls it, a deluxe Kronos, and it's very, very nice. But you can see how there's there would be that issue. I mean, look at this blaster. Internally, this blaster just looks gorgeous. The clear window looks nice. He says that color is real snazzy. You ought to check out the review and do look for more videos. Dwayne is going to do more videos. He's very good at this. I personally like the feeling of the videos more than Coop and maybe even Drax videos, simply because it has more of that feeling that I try to convey to you. That I don't dumb it down, and I try to make it so that we're talking shop here. It's not a matter of, I'm not trying to appease a bunch of teenage kids or some little kids. I'm talking shop. I'm talking technically, what are we doing? What is this about? What are we at? And Dwayne seems to be about that. And I really like that. So thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for these pictures. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. So Dwayne also did a Heracles video as well. I wanted to show you this. Okay. Also, it looks like a pretty solid blaster. I know this mag part, I would cut that off right away. But it does look like a smaller Kronos. And we had discussions on it, on like the prime handle. He says that the prime handle is it's a little bit, if you're holding it like this, it's a little bit better, you know. It was really, really good. Above 100 feet per second, which is nice. Now the pistols out of the box compete with blasters like, you know, the Helios and the Apollo and everything else, as you can see. So, good things to come here. Good things to come. And like I said, very, very good system to get used to. Okay? Very, very good system to get used to. And just get acclimated to the Kronomag. Because I think that these mods will be on apply to a very wide range of rifle blasters, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. I'll repeat myself again. I don't see it going away anytime soon. He's gonna shoot across the street. Screw you, neighbor! Bam! We gotta get a drink one day, Dwayne, and just hang out. Seriously. So this week, I got to play with this kit. All sorts of videos on it, all sorts of stuff, you know. I did a lot of work with this. This is on Etsy, and yes, it is very high in demand, and you may have to wait a little while for it, or he may have them ready to go. It just depends on where they're at. But over 20 people have this in the carts right now. Over 20. Okay? It costs $53.18. And plus probably shipping from Singapore. You're probably talking about $18, $20, something like that. But, yeah, you know, it's incredible. For less than $100, around $100, you can get something that can shoot 300 feet per second. As celebrated and admirable as a Caliburn is, okay, and how much of a leap that was to have that kind of snap pull technology put into a MagFit blaster and be 3D printed. A Kronomag, in my opinion, I mean, just into one of the most common blasters Nerf makes. To make something that is just a thumper, you know, is a huge deal. I mean, it's just huge, okay? You can go as high or as low as you want with this. You can go as far or as close as you want with this. A lot of people at Pack XJ, My Venom also make mag wells and other parts for these, but I think this one takes the cake. And I'll tell you why. One, the compatibility with the barrel. Okay, it's compatible with Monkey Mod barrels. It's normal Monkey Mod barrels. You think that 170 millimeters is too short? Well, you can go with about 128 millimeters. That's fine. I have on Facebook, I have the actual barrel conversion put up. Here, I'll put it up. I'll put it up right here. There's the barrel conversion. There's the numbers. The actual cc's of air. The actual barrel diameter for 13 millimeter. And the actual optimum barrel length, given that you're higher than 16 kilograms. If you're lower, then you want to adjust that number low. I believe 14 kilogram K26 is 2.2. Long shot spring 14K is 2.0. And the lower you go, the less barrel you need, of course, because you're building up less pressure. But this is a revolution. In my opinion, I've never seen a kit able to do as good. The diameter of the pusher is 10 millimeters. Now, of course, you know the diameter on the original Kronomag is 11.25 millimeter diameter stainless steel. I'll show you that stainless steel. I'll show you. That is the pusher material right there. That's it. K&S, half-inch stainless steel. It works really great, but of course you can't put O-rings on it. You can't sleeve them into aluminum barrels. So you have that limitation of you'd only have to be able to use brass. Well, in order to use something that's a little bit more common and a little easier to use, such as aluminum, you need O-rings. And he figured out how to do it. And one of the biggest problems I've found with every Kronomag kit that I have heard of, and even some parts that I've gotten, is that inner diameter of this pusher just doesn't have enough air throughput to really book the good numbers. And I kept seeing numbers of the Kronomag that people were making. I kept seeing the numbers of the Kronomag that people were making way too low. 200 feet per second, 180 feet per second, 210 feet per second. I'm like, here I am. I'm basically configuring my blaster like the bird of prey. You know, I got a rifle unit. The rifling unit on here that also is for sale on Etsy. I'll show you that in a second. That makes it so it's extremely accurate and works very well with the Kronos. And yeah, it's like these people can't get these numbers. It's like, well, of course I did revolutionize, you know, short pistol design. You know, the idea of using a shorter tube with lesser of a period to have less air discharge but still maintain power. And a lot of people don't understand that system. So you need any help on this, let me know. PM me. I'll talk to you. I'll help you out, you know. I'm not one of those people that people PM me and I don't answer. I do answer. I try to answer every fan I get to try to help them out. But it's just a different philosophy of getting high speed, but it can do it. I mean, in the 5318, you get the hook and the pattern, the cutout pattern. So, and by the way, this is a really accurate cutout pattern. This is what a lot of your kits need. Like the Star kit needs this, and it doesn't have it. It really should have it. And it has the support for the tube, so your tube isn't going to break on you, everything. I mean, it's really good. It's really great. So I'm going to do a review on this. Look for that on my channel. I haven't done a formal review yet. I always do reviews last. It's kind of like what I did with the Spans kit, where I did the review last. And I really like the fact that people like Gavin Fuzzy, people like Ezekiel, are really coming up in Singapore and making formidable things that are just bitching. Put in mind that Ezekiel does not just make Kronomag kits. He also makes the automatic prime kit for the long shot that he's making, some magwells, some other parts that he makes for the katana mags, the talon mags, and what have you. He does a lot of really great stuff. So look out for these too. I think one day, right now we see a world with jet blasters and Explorer and Worker. One day we may see a world that's a little bit more like Gavin Fuzzy and Nerf EZE. We might. And I hope we do, because their designs, their philosophies, their ethics in this business appear to be a lot better than those three. And they're even-minded people. They're nice people. They're good people. They don't have a big, stick up their ass about these things. Unlike a lot of companies I see and a lot of people starting out, they're just very arrogant. I mean, even Captain Slug. I can talk to Captain Slug. I've talked to him online. He's cool enough to answer questions and to talk. And he doesn't rip people off. He doesn't screw people over, A lot of people are like, Captain Slug, give me your money. And I'm like, you know what? He's made a great product, and he's done a good job. And I would love to see these guys get the same kind of success with their designs, their 3D printing, and the distribution that Slug has. And just don't go to Worker. Go somewhere else, I mean, really. And I do... Every time I think of Singapore, I do cry. I miss Singapore. I miss what could have happened there. And I miss that this is a great reminder that the Archer was a good idea. It was a great idea. It's just was in the hands of very short-sighted people that didn't understand where I was going with it or care enough to carry it through. So don't get too disheartened. I'm finally getting over it after a long time. of being disappointed. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and this is what this kit to me, and this to me, means to me. Now, not everybody can get a Merlin, and you may not have a blaster that is high impact. Let's say like a bird of prey, or like a big blue with a huge long shot tube in it, expanded long shot tube in it. It's also 18.5K. You may have something that's a little softer shooting, or even on a harder shooting blaster like a Kronomag. This rifling unit seems to work extremely well. And of course I try out parts, and certain blasters, certain parts work better with certain blasters, certain darts work better, but usually that's barrel material. But when it comes to rifling, it's many things. It's power output, it's how much air delivery there is at a time, there's finding that sweet spot, which I did on this. This is the Lego DEI rifling unit. This is made by a guy who graduated from Caltech named Howji. And it's a ported rifling unit. If you look on here, there are these little grooves that go about quarter turn to this. Now, unlike mine where I actually cut it down and fit it with brass, that's custom. These do not come that way. These come for 15 millimeter barrels for the most part. But most of you, use 15 millimeter barrels. If not, do know, centering a piece of 9/16 in there, it is possible. Just like it is on a Merlin, it is on one of these. No big deal. But it's a very nice unit. Look at the rifling inside, and it does work. It works extremely well. If you look on OC Nerf's slow-mo video that we did, where I'm shooting the Kronomag, I am shooting one of these units. $10. So you never know. I mean, you may actually get one of these, and it works. And for most of you guys, I'm betting it will. Especially people that have 15 millimeter barrels, I'm betting you will. It's just a fantastic design. This guy, too, is very brilliant. This is a guy who made his very own blaster from fiberboard and metal parts and showed up to a Schoon meet. Okay? He's one of the most accurate guys that go to a meet. Like me, or Baltran, or Alan Turbino, OC Nerf. There's a lot of snipers lately that show up to these meets. And he's one of the more accurate shooters, the more consistent shooters. And one of the ways that he does it is this unit. So you can see it on this Kronomag here. On the Kronomag, I've noticed, however, that I don't really lose that much velocity, like I do on other blasters that use this unit. I don't on this one. So here it is right here. Even ported. We're ported. I mean, I do lose about 10 feet per second. But take a look, man. Take a look. Right through it. I just went clean through the damn thing. You see that? Yeah. So, if you think this might float your boat, look them up. Lego DEI Accurato Nerf Rifle Attachment version 2.0. In my opinion, it's worth the $10 just to try it on a blaster. So this came from Blake Bergstrom over at the Crow Auxiliary. This is a Megalodon. This is pretty outrageous. I'm always looking for other powerhouse blasters to use and shoot and everything else. And I also had some predictions on this. I was hoping that this would be an interchangeable system, but it's not. So again, some of my hopes didn't happen. But I do like the fact that it's got a nice big plunger tube up here. It can use a better spring rest back here, and it can use a few other things to really give it power. I like its big rotating barrel, but honestly, who wants to put in 20 CPVC barrels or brass or whatever? It's got a real robust, hefty gearbox. I saw the videos from the New York Toy Fair, and the first thing I thought was, this thing needs more power, and it does. I do like that it has a huge crane here, acting upon as a bolt sled onto here to prime this. I like this. This is a good setup right here where it goes back and forth. So I see a lot of potential with this. That a lot of things can be done with it. I was hoping that there was a mag release here to just drop out of 20. Can you imagine if you had replaceable 20s? Ooh, wouldn't that be cool? But you know how it is. They don't like to do that sort of thing. But anyway, it does look like a pretty cool blaster. Maybe a little on the gimmicky side, but it has its points, and I really do like it. I really do think the Megalodon is pretty wicked. It's pretty cool. You know, especially if you got a guy, you know, charging a bunch of people with shields and just fire away at people. I mean, that's pretty badass. But yeah, this is the internals right here. On Crew Auxiliary. Check her out. And finally, on high pressure airheads, we have a printed copy of the ADHD. So Liam Davis has printed up the HDHD with help from Flywheel the World to make a prototype, and ooh, it looks so cool. Doesn't that just look wicked? Spectre, yeah, this whole nice self-contained unit with the stock and everything. It's really cool. He's his first chance. He's gonna try the Sober core out. I think he's using the Super core. Remember there was confusion with the Sober and the Super. Yeah, Sober goes from behind. Super comes from the front. Yeah, but nonetheless, it's pretty cool. And he's able to get 25 psi and get like 280 feet per second. Wow, that is just beyond efficient. Wow, and I've known him for a while, you know, and I've seen him do cool stuff. I think this is rad. I'd love to see a pick and aerial on this thing and put some scopes, you know me, old scopeage action, kind of like I do on a Kronomag, you know. And put in mind that this is like almost as fast as this, and I'm sure it can be tuned to be as fast as one of these. 286. I'm not sure if you went 30 psi, you can probably get like 320 or whatever. And it's semi-auto. It's boom, 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 you know? So put that in mind when you compare it in velocity, that you're talking about something with a lot of awesome firepower. Will HBA ever really make it in the U.S. without being categorized as something like paintball? I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm hoping one day that we see more wars where they're more accepted and they're cool. But let's face it, we don't want cops shooting us, that sort of thing. We don't want those kind of problems to go with it. But you can see he's done a wide range of stuff. He's done some excellent machining work. This is a scar he made. He handmade a scar. Really cool. See, look at this. Look at this work he does. Very skilled machinist. Very skilled. And if you haven't checked out High Pressure Airheads or seen some of Liam's work, check it out. Seriously, check it out. And finally, from X-Shot, we have the Ninja series that's coming out. The Ninja series has a new color scheme, kind of like a radioactive green and blue color scheme, with some grayish, blackish highlights, such as the pistol grip and what have you. I think this is really cool. It's a nicer color scheme than what I've seen. Although the white does look pretty nice, it's a nicer looking color scheme. I like the blue and the lime kind of look to it. They have many blasters that come with it, but the one big one that I heard, which was really interesting, was, well, there's a turbo advance right there. Look at that. Well, it looks like a turbo advance. Look at the turbo advance drum. Does that look like a turbo advance drum to you? Oh, maybe it's not. So the one gripe I heard was, what, no turbo advance? But this kind of looks like a turbo advance. It has the dual barrel on it, and it's got the chambers on it, but it doesn't. But they only load the one chamber on them on the X-Shot, and I'm wondering, is this the turbo advance or not? Like, is this the model that's supposed to replicate it? I know it's not a turbo advance because it has the stock. As a matter of fact, you even see the turbo advance way up here. See, turbo advance. But I do see on this picture that there are staggered chambers right here. Now my question is, did they put in the staggered chambers and decide to go single chamber only? Or do these dual chambers actually work? Not enough information is displayed on this. But if this is, let's say, like a turbo advance, but it has like the dual chambers on it, that would be really cool. But for some reason, I don't think so. It looks like it's just molded right there to give you the look that you could put darts in there, but you can't. Pity if that's true. Pity. Because that looks to me, yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about X-Shot to really know. But the one thing that did do it, and I don't know for sure, okay, if they did or they didn't, is that you got the dual chambers on the dual advance and you got the front shotgun grip. As where on this one, on this X-Shot Ninja series, you look like you have the rear prime here and this. I couldn't get enough information to find out if this was a dual shooter or not. But that may answer, if it is, that may answer some of our questions on this. So if you find out, do let me know. Can this shoot in those chambers actual darts if you see it on the inside right there? Or is it just stuck to that single? Because that would be a waste if they did that. That would be a real waste. I'm hoping that it can shoot dual chamber, just like the dual advance. Other blasters include the sniper blaster here, which uses a magazine system much the same as, well, let's say other cartridge loaded Nerf stuff that we don't like all that much. That this blaster looks really interesting. I like the glow in the dark, and I love these. I have one of these. I modded one of these with a turf spring, and oh, it shoots so powerful with the stuff, and it's crazy. These little pistols are cool. It's gonna finally be cool to get a blue one, you know. So, at any rate, this out, man. They said that this was the craziest kill of the game. The guy just throws a freaking melee at him. Brave kid. Brave kid. This came from my friend Roberto, who plays LA Foam Fighters. Let's see that again, because that was really cool. Look at this brave little guy. Just throw the freaking rocket at this guy. Boom! Woo! That was awesome! Oh, that is really cool. So anyway, I have to dispose of the body of the TV hog pig, and I have to do it in a means that they won't find, which of course means I'm going to have to disappear. So don't you go changing, I'll find you, and I may reappear where you don't want me to. Okay. Fuck you, computer.